Kingdom family, kingdom family, kingdom family. What's up, everybody? What's up? I see you all. Hey, Amy, Nicola, Nadine, Tim, Daphne, Evie, Donna, Cheryl. Helen. I see our family here, and I am so grateful and so thankful to be with you all here at this special moment, at this special time, as we approach the upcoming full moon and all that we get to explore and play with together. I want to make sure that you all can hear me and see me okay. So if you can hear me and see me well, I just want you to type some ones into the chat box to make sure that everything is working okay this morning. I am here at the Esalen Institute this weekend. I was taking Siana Sherman's workshop after doing our week-long teacher training program. And I just feel so grateful and so excited to be able to share with you all in this beautiful way today. So, as we continue on our journey today, thank you all for letting me know you can hear me. We are in for a very powerful session of the kingdom. But before I even go into that, I want to know if this is anybody's first time at the kingdom. If this is your first time, I want you to type in the words first time into the chat box and where you're from, and you will see our entire community will welcome you here with big, wide, open arms. And if you see the ones in the chat box, if this is your first time, this is our way of kind of exchanging energy. So anytime you hear me or any of our guests or anybody say anything that makes you want to say like yes or amen or I'm with you or I got you, you just put some ones in the chat box, and that's our way of exchanging energy, and you'll see how much that impacts our space. Now, this session today is on something that everybody who's worked with me knows is one of my favorite words, and it is about the power of transformation. The power of transformation. And today we're going to go through the transformational equation. And those of you who are in the teacher training should know this by heart, but in a little bit of a deeper way that will help you learn exactly what it is that you need to transform in your life right now, how to start taking steps to do it, what might be holding you back from getting there, and how to keep yourself motivated and inspired. And so I'm very excited for this session today in particular because this is one of my favorite topics. And since we have so many first-timers here today, I want to tell you about our format of the kingdom. So we're typically together for about an hour, sometimes an hour and 15 minutes. Sometimes it's me teaching alone, and sometimes it's with a special guest. And we always start with some form of art, music, song, poetry. And then I open up into a prayer. And during the prayer, I give you about 60 seconds to welcome in your own personal prayer. And I just have this vision of all of us at the kingdom together being in person one day, doing our prayers in all of our different religions and all of our different languages, and really tapping into this sacred space together out loud. And then we jump into the teaching. We do an actual practice to help you anchor and integrate the teachings into your life, a golden nugget, which you'll see what that is, and a power action to help you take this into action. So it's not just inspiration and feeling inspired here at the kingdom. You know, that was one of the things when I used to go to church as a kid. I always loved how inspired I would be, but I would always be missing the what to do. And so here at the kingdom, I always give you all a what to do. And I want to just personally welcome so many in, and you'll see our family is welcoming you here. And those of you who have been here many times, please welcome all of our first timers by name. I see you already are, with an open heart. We see Jennifer, Jackie from Atlanta, Georgia, Nicola from London in the UK. Anna is back. Welcome back, Anna. We have Kate from Vancouver for the first time. Tafara, who was here at Esalen with me this past week, first time joining us live from Oakland. And anybody else who's joining us for the first time, even if you're coming in a little late, just type in first time. Hello, Stephanie from suburban Philadelphia. We love Philly out here. And welcome, everybody. We're just so excited to welcome you to our family. And this is really a family that we have built together. We travel around the world together. We go on retreats together. We learn together. We grow together. There's so much that we do together. Hello, Tiffany. Welcome, Tiffany. Welcome to everybody. I'm so grateful to have you here. Now, I have a couple quick announcements that I want to make. I always do that at the beginning before we get into the teaching. All right, and these are some fun announcements actually. All right, so the first announcement is, especially many of you have been joining this. So the Kingdom, this session is every other Sunday. All right, every other Sunday, same time, same place. But what we do to connect the community, because the Kingdom is, it's not one way, because obviously we're chatting with each other, but you all can't see each other and talk to each other as easily. And so every Wednesday night, we have something called Soul Study. And what I need you to know is if you're registered for the Kingdom, you're not automatically registered for Soul Study. And Soul Study is free. And it's every Wednesday night, 5 o'clock Pacific, which is 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's on Zoom, so you get to talk to each other and we go deeper into the lessons of the Kingdom to help you fully integrate them into your life and also to meet these incredible people in our community. We break you into small groups. We have a good time. We're on for about 45 minutes or an hour. Trey has been leading the session so beautifully these past several weeks, and you'll see in the future we'll have some other leaders coming in to mix it up as well now that we have our new cohort of teacher trainees. And so if you sign up, it's free. You start getting the notifications to that right away, and you'll be in with us this Wednesday night. And it's justinmichaelwilliams.com/soul-study. So justinmichaelwilliams.com/soul-study. All right, just wanted to make sure you all know about how to be a part of that. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the in-person events that we have coming up. All right, because what's been so cool is so many of us have been together for several years online, and having the opportunity to come and meet together in person has been really just one of the greatest gifts. We got to meet so many of our teacher trainees this past week at Esalen. So I wanted to give you a heads up of what's coming this summer and how to sign up for those things in case you want to come meet me and meet some other people in the community. And so I have a West Coast event, West Coast retreat, and an East Coast retreat coming up this summer. West Coast retreat is here at Esalen, where I'm at right now in Big Sur, California. It's about 3 hours south of San Francisco. And if you fly into San Jose or San Francisco, it's just a couple hour drive into this beautiful place. If y'all could see, I wish you could see, it would just be too bright. I'm overlooking the Pacific Ocean right now out of this beautiful window with natural hot springs going into the ocean on this super sacred native land of the Esalen people and the Esalen tribe. And there's so much healing and work that's been done here. And I'll put a link on how to join that in a moment. So my Esalen workshop in July is called Reclaiming Your Authentic Power, and it's happening here in July. And then on the East Coast, I'm gonna be at Omega Institute in New York. On the East Coast, it's kind of upstate New York, and it's the same workshop, Reclaiming Your Authentic Power, but for my East Coast folks, all right? And then finally, in October, I'm just giving you a heads up because we are almost sold out, that we have a retreat in Bali, a 10-day retreat in Bali called the Just Be Retreat. Many of you are already signed up and coming, and so I'm super excited to have you there. And I just wanted to make sure that you knew how to come and join and be a part of this incredible community. I'm putting a bunch of links into the chat box right now for you to join all of these different things. And here are the upcoming events. But if you need to just come back to this and you're not looking at the chat box for some reason, or you're listening to this somewhere else, if you just go to justinmichaelwilliams.com/events, you will be able to see everything. And if you're coming already to one of these events, whether it's Bali, Omega, or Esalen in the fall, in the summer, or Esalen or Bali in the fall, put some ones in the chat box so that I can just see you, and see that you're coming. And if you're planning on coming, and I'm just so excited to have you here. Just so excited to have you here at Hello Gutter Flower. It's great to welcome you here. All right. Yes, and Sandy, we're working on a Midwest thing. Sometime probably next year. All right. So the last thing that I want to mention to you all, and then we're going to get into our teaching, is what I have at the bottom here. And that is a big new free virtual event that is happening on June 29th. It's a Wednesday night at the end of the month. It's going to replace Soul Study, okay? A Wednesday night at the last Wednesday of this month. And it is called the Transformation Experience. It is I've been practicing and rehearsing and planning for this for about 2 months now. It is a mix between a concert and a TED Talk, okay? And really learning and helping you take actions to change your life. You're gonna get a workbook with like some sing-alongs and songs to sing along, and really going through deeply a lot of what we're covering today. We're gonna have a DJ pre-party with Tasha Blank, who is an amazing DJ who hosts what has been called the Get Down, and we're gonna have an incredible time together. And so to join the transformation experience, it's totally free, okay? June 29th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's a 2-hour event. And for those of you who are like, it starts too late on the East Coast, you stayed up late scrolling through Instagram for sillier things. So plan ahead, stay up late with us. We're gonna have an incredible time. And of course, if you can't make it, you can always join and watch the replay. And so the website to join the transformation experience is transformationx.org, okay? Transformationx.org. And I'm very excited about this. And I hope you all will sign up and join us for that, because it's gonna be a really special event. We already have about 1,000 people signed up, and it's totally free. All right, so I see so many of you are coming to join in. Anna, Gigi, yes. Gina, you're coming to Bali, I know. Evie, yes. So many of you are coming to hang out, and I'm so excited to be with you all. All right. So all of that being said, it's time for us to start with our song. And I'm going to do a song that we've been doing over and over for these last 3 sessions. And today, I want you to feel this song a little differently, okay? Because we are going to sing Stand By Me. And I've been singing this cover again and again all over the place. I sing it at Esalen, I sing it everywhere because I love this song so much. This song, for me, I'll tell you for me what this song represents, and you can put it in your space, is that even as we go towards our growth, even as we go towards transformation, even as we try to transform and change and make this place a better world for ourselves and our descendants and all the people and all the children of the future, there's still going to be hard stuff that comes up. You know, I look at change and global change and personal change kind of like a stock market, right? So I think of it as, it's like we have big dips. We'll have big dips, but we're trending up. We're trending up. You know, and even though there are terrible things happening in our lives sometimes, and terrible things happening in the world sometimes, when we look at it from a bigger perspective, we can see that we are, as humanity, as a collective, and as ourselves, moving upward, trending toward our growth and our transformation, even when we have the dips. How many of you are going through a dip right now? Put a 2 in the chat box if you're going through a dip of some sort right now. We all go through dips. I go through dips. We all go through dips, you know? But those dips have the possibility to make us stronger. And so that's why even in these words, I love when the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. It's this thing that the night, after every day, even when there is daylight, the shadow will come. The night will come. It will come, okay? But you still have the moon guiding you as that spotlight. And here, you know, I was with Siana Sherman this week in her workshop at Esalen, and she talked about one of the most sacred spots that you can offer your prayers to is when moonlight touches water. We've all seen that. And we have a full moon coming up soon. And so this is a beautiful thing. And it says, no, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. And this is the key. Just as long as you stand by me. And the reason why this is so important is because oftentimes when we're in those dips, we think that we have to do it alone. We think that we're on our own. We're the only people going through a dip. We gotta pull our energy all the way in and, you know, get quiet and retreat. And sometimes that's necessary, okay? But what we have to remember is when we are standing by each other, that's actually what helps us grow stronger. That's what helps us make these dips rise again when we come together, whether it's for our personal change or our collective transformation. And so Gina, I see going through a little dip here. Nicola going through a dip here. Oh, Anna having a dip here. COVID in Spain. I was just in Spain. I get it. Barbie, look at all the dips. Look at all the dips here. Mary Teresa, right? But just remember that we have each other here. And just remember that you are trending upward. Trending upward. Let me see. Somebody's having a little tech trouble, so I'm just responding to them. Okay, trending upward. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to sing. I'm putting up the lyrics for you all so you can sing along, even though I hope you know the song by now. And we rise together. All right? Oh, Magdalena, happy birthday. We have a birthday in the house. All right? Happy birthday. Everybody wish Magdalena a happy birthday. All right. So even if you're not having a dip right now, can y'all hear this guitar? Even if you're not having a dip right now, we've all had the dips, right? So it's easy for us to find that compassionate space. Can y'all hear the guitar? Let me know. All right. When the night, sing with me, has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. Sing with me, come on. Come on. Hey, sing. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't. I feel like I could hear you. Shed a tear just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Let's go to the second verse. I'm putting it on the screen. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, sometimes it does, or the mountain should crumble to the sea. Come on, everybody. I won't cry. I won't cry. No, I won't shed a tear. Even though you can cry, just as long, we like crying, as you stand, let it come. Stand by me. Everybody, come on. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. All right, here's what I want you all to do. I want you to find somebody in this chat box, somebody's name, and I want you to type their name and then just say stand by me. And you can type in as many names as you want. Let's do it as I sing this. Type it in. So darling, kingdom family, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me, stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Let us pray. Let us pray. Place your hands over the center of your chest and drop in to the root of your heart. And feel this community connected together. And in this moment, we know that we are not alone. We have our ancestors. We have our descendants who are borrowing this land and time from. We have our spirits, our guides, whatever we call our higher source, our God, our greater one. And we have each other here in this physical plane for now. And so God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. We thank you for bringing this community together from all over the world. Thank you for all of the new people who are joining us this week. May they feel welcome and connected into this family. May each person who is going through a bit of darkness right now, where the night has come, may they each remember that joy comes in the morning, and the morning will come. Because as the moon sets, the sun rises, and as the sun rises, the moon sets, and this pattern, this cycle, it continues to circle and evolve us and grow us through the seasons of our lives. So may we not forget that we are trending upward, that we are growing, and that even in the darkness, even in the winter, when things seems like they are falling apart in the winters of our lives, it is creating space for new growth. May we trust in ourselves. May we trust in a greater power. May we trust in one another. This is your moment now to welcome in your own personal prayer. I'll be silent for about 60 seconds, and you can welcome in a religious or a spiritual prayer, or just set an intention for your heart, from your heart, for this coming week or for this session. Go ahead now. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, by every name you may go by, from every culture around the world. We thank you. Thank you for bringing us together. And may we remember that we are enough and that we rise together. May we stand by one another always. Thank you for this family. So it is. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Satnam, Awen, Shalom. Thank you. I don't know if y'all can hear the little bird who started chirping right at the end of that there. You know, I feel so grateful that we have this, let me take my guitar off, this family together here, because, you know, for so many of us, we don't have people in our lives who get it. And you know what I mean when I say that. And so what an opportunity to come together with the collective who gets it, who gets it, who gets us. Let's jump into today's teaching, shall we? So, here at the Kingdom, I just want to make sure you all know we believe here at the Kingdom that all beliefs are welcome here. We believe that all biologies are welcome here. We believe in the power of music to open our hearts and our minds, and we believe that wisdom can come from many places. And so sometimes I'll use religious or spiritual texts of different kinds, and sometimes they won't be any classical or organized religion as at all, but they will be concepts that are covered by pretty much every spiritual tradition and religion. And so we believe that wisdom can come from many places, and we learn how to bring that wisdom into our lives. We believe in an expanded definition of self, knowing that we are not just the me in this body, but that each of us are connected to one another and impact one another. Here at the Kingdom, we don't just honor or tolerate each other's differences, but we know we're stronger because of those differences. It's our diversity that makes us actually so strong of a family and so amazing of a community to come together. And I've said over and over already today, we rise together. We rise together. And so today's session is on the power of transformation. The power of transformation. And this is a big word, okay? And I'm going to break this down for you in a super direct, clear way that allows you to understand it on a deeper level. And my teacher trainees who are here, I want you to listen carefully, okay? Because this is going to be, for you, something that you are teaching and that you're out in the world spreading. And I know all of you hear me talking about teacher trainees. We just finished a big 6-month teacher training that a new one will start up again next year. If you go to wecandreambigger.org/training, can somebody type that in for me? You can get on the wait list for the next Transformational Leader Meditation Teacher Training. And I know many of you are here. I see you, Lori and Daphne, and just everybody that I see here. Sarah, I won't say all your names, Evie. And so today, as we talk about the power of transformation, I want to first tell you about the transformation equation. And this is an equation that I've put together, but if you look at basically I don't want to say every, but pretty much every human consciousness development, personal growth book or teacher or teaching, I tried to distill down what they were all saying into simple, digestible formats so we can really understand what is it that is at the root of transformation. And what I came up with is this, and I want you all to type this in or write it down so you remember it, because this is really important, okay? Transformation is 1/3 light work, 1/3 shadow work, 1/3 action, and that equals transformation. And I'm going to go through this in as much detail as I can in the limited amount of time that we have together today. We're here for just, not much longer, about 45 minutes. And for those of you who want to take this further with additional tools or training or support, we have the transformation experience coming up, which I mentioned, and I'll talk about it again at the end. The transformation experience, which is a free 2-hour deep dive event on transformation that's happening at the end of June 29th. I'm just mentioning it again because I know some of you are just getting here. And the link to that is transformationx.org. If somebody could type that in the chat box for me, that would be helpful. For those of you who want to join that, it's at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on June 29th. And so I'm giving you a deep dive on that on June 29th. And today I'm going over the main elements so you can start your transformation now, because you can't wait. And you don't need to wait. You can do this today. So this is something that I've actually never shown publicly. I've only showed it inside of our teacher training program. But I thought would be important to welcome all of you to that today so that you can get a little hint of what's coming in the transformation experience. All right? So it's light plus shadow plus action equals transformation. Now, I want you to notice the arrow that's going through the middle, okay? Because these things are connected. But there's something really important that connects it. It's not just, oh, I got to do my light work, and here's light work, and then here's shadow work, and here's action, which I'm going to go into in detail each of these today. And then all of a sudden I've transformed, but there's a place from which you must come from that connects all of this and actually gives you the opportunity to transform. Excuse me for having my eyes closed. I'm just like very dropped into spirit today, and I'm just like listening closely to what's coming through me. And so watch what happens on the screen right now, those of you who can see it or watching. Light plus shadow plus action, and then boom, meditation. Meditation is the force that activates this process. It's the force that sends us all the way through. It's the force that makes sure the light work and the shadow work that we're doing and the actions that we're taking are actually aligned with our highest growth, are actually aligned with our soul's purpose, are actually aligned with who it is that we have been put here to be. Not just what we're supposed to do because we're supposed to be taking action and busy, not just because of our stories and our past, because we have traumatic moments that have come up and things that have happened to us that are in our shadow, things that have happened in the past that have defined us in some way, and not just because we think we're supposed to think positive and read every spiritual self-help book that's ever come out, but because we are grounded in a state of being and able to hear and access a voice within us that tells us what to do, so that the what we do is in alignment with who it is that we're supposed to be on this planet. And I don't want you transforming into me. I don't want you transforming into someone else's dharma or purpose. I don't want you transforming into who you think you're supposed to be. I don't want you transforming into other people's expectations. I don't want you transforming into what your shadow or your conditioning thinks you're supposed to be. I want you transforming into the real you. The you that you were put here to be. The you, like Oprah Winfrey always says, with a capital Y. Okay? And so this is what we are doing. And yes, Lori typed in so beautifully here, you are your own guru. That's the whole point. And so how do we tap into that space of our inner knowing? One of the definitions of guru is service, servant. And so what are we serving? What are we serving? Meditation is how we know. And so I am going, hold on. Meditation is the glue that brings all of these together. So you're not just thinking positive and reading these books and then also going to therapy and trying to do your work on your shadow and then also taking action and being busy and a whole bunch of things and then wondering why you haven't transformed. And so what we're going to cover today is going to help you tap into that. And what I want you to know deeply from the root of my heart, from the deepest place in my soul, is that you are ready. You are ready. Whatever is going on in your life right now, whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's a dip or a rise, whether it's a peak or a valley, whether it's going into the night has come or going into the sun has risen, you are ready, because all of it can be used for the sake of your transformation. So today, I'm going to go through each of these sections individually, okay? Light, shadow, and action, and give you a little idea of what each of these are about, and then we'll end with a little practice that will take you into your transformation. And we'll go through light, shadow, action, meditation, and transformation. So we'll go through all 5 sections today. So I'll be asking you all to type some things into the chat box. I'm going to turn the music down so that you can anchor these into your spirit. And if you're just sitting there and watching, that's fine. If the chat box distracts you, don't worry about it. But if you're able to join us and type in the chat, this is really going to activate some things for you, all right, in a big way. So I invite you to join us in the chat box as well. So let's start by talking about light, y'all. All right, let's start talking about light. So light and light work is typically the work that we know we should be doing, that sometimes we don't do, even though we know we should be doing it. And it's the stuff that feels good, right? So when we do light work, we like doing light work. When we think about light work, we often go, yes, okay, I'm going to do that. We know this is something positive for us. And there's many things that can exist in the light work category. But I'm going to give a slight list. This is not an exhaustive list of things that can exist in the light work category. Praying, practicing rituals, keeping your mind right, doing a gratitude journal, thinking positive, exercising, staying fit, listening to motivational podcasts. Y'all know I love me some Super Soul Sunday, all right? Super Soul Conversations on the podcast, or I guess it's called Super Soul now. Reading books to enhance your well-being, doing yoga, living in a space of love and light, sending love and light. Can anybody think of other things that would be counted as light work? Type them into the chat box. Because what light work is the work that you do that is obviously in direction of enhancing your well-being, of keeping you motivated, of thinking positive, of keeping you in an ascending headspace where you are tapping in and connecting with the divine. Here we go. Therapy. That could be light work, but Mariana will look at that in a moment as more shadow work. Playing music, being in nature, dancing, Mal, Cheryl, Allison, massage and body work, Sarah, great, awesome, thank you for bringing that in. Keola, practicing hula, Allison, playing music, Cheryl, hugging trees, yes, Barbie, comedy, Sarah, dancing, Brenda, a miracle journal, Mary Teresa, qigong, Cheryl, being with good friends, Stephanie, walking in nature, Evie, dancing like no one's watching, or singing, spending time with loved ones. Yes, a lot of you are mentioning nature. Parenting, Sandy, which could be light work and shadow work, we know, and action, and all of the above, and transformation. Gardening, Stephanie, guided meditations, breathing, taking a pause. Yes, okay, great. All of this. Y'all get it. Y'all get the trick here. Okay? So there's so much Reiki that we can do. I love that 2 of you at the same time typed Reiki in. And gardening. All of this can be light work. So this is really important. And light work is essential. We can't skip our light work because the light work is what keeps us connected into that space of inspiration. Inspiration meaning from spirit. From spirit. It keeps us connected to that space. So we are in the spiritual realm because we're connected into joy. We're connected into awe. And again, all things are spiritual, even the shadow. But I'm talking about that uplifted, ascended, joyful, motivated spiritual space. And that's a really important place to be in. And so we cannot skip that work. And oftentimes, some of us, even though we know there's these things that we want to be doing, we sometimes avoid them or don't do them. All right, so here's light work. We got that. This is oftentimes the one that's easiest for people to notice. Now let's talk about shadow. So there's light work, there's shadow work. And I did a deep dive session 2 weeks ago, or a month ago basically, two kingdoms ago, on the power of your shadow. And so if you're looking on a whole session on understanding shadow work, you can go back and watch the replay of the Kingdom session that I did on shadow. It's on YouTube, and it'll be on the Kingdom podcast soon. But I want to give you a primer here, even if you missed that session, on what is shadow work, because we know what light work is. So shadow, first of all, what is your shadow? Because your shadow is there, and I got to be very clear here. Let me take the slides down so I can tell you this to be super clear, okay? So shadow is also spiritual. Robert Masters, one of my teachers, once said something to me that he said, Justin, you can't limit the divine to just joy and happiness and peace and love. The divine is not just in the peaks. The divine is also in the valleys. The divine is not just in the highs, just in the ascending. The divine is also in the descending energy. The divine is also in the valleys, the lows, when the night has come. We don't have the night sky come out and the moon come out and the stars come out and it get dark and silent and say that the divine is not here, that this is not sacred, that it's only sacred in the morning. And so it's hard for us to see that sometimes, right? It's hard for us to see often that when we go into these dips, that there is a sacredness happening here. But I want to invite you into remembering that as I talk about shadow, that it is also just as sacred as our light work. Okay? Just as sacred as our light work. So I want everybody to type that in right now. Type in shadow work is just as sacred as light work. Everybody type that in. I'm going to do it too. Shadow work is just as sacred as light work. Right? Because this is really important for all of you to remember. Essential. And I'm really taking a second on that because as we get into this, you're going to understand why. What is shadow? Your shadow is anything in your life or in our world that we have not cast our light of awareness onto. So it's the things that are hiding in the background of our lives, but that are actually controlling our lives without us recognizing it. And what you need to know is that your shadow, like I said, is not a bad thing. Because your greatest gifts are often hiding in your shadow. Your greatest gifts are often hiding in your shadow. So Siana Sherman, I'm here with her right now. I mentioned her several times today. I see you, Brenda, Helen, Keola, Jennifer, Elka, Daphne, Nicola. So I'm here with Siana Sherman, and she taught this metaphor that I love, that we see, that you all have heard me mention. I mentioned it a month ago when I talked about shadow work in our session. What do I mean by your greatest gifts are in your shadow? Well, it's best told by a little story. And you've heard many versions of this story. So once upon a time, there was a great prince. And this great prince heard about a great treasure that was hiding inside of a cave. And so the great prince went on a journey for days and nights to get to this mystical cave, to get the treasure for his kingdom. And so the prince galloped on horseback for days and nights through the treacherous woods, cutting through the vines, going through the dark, crossing over the great rivers. And he arrives at the mystical cave. And once he gets to the cave, he walks up to the front and out comes a big, fierce dragon. And the dragon is there, and the dragon lets out the big sound to scare away the prince. And the prince runs away because he wasn't expecting the dragon to be guarding the cave. And we can see, as Siana always says, these stories, these myths, what Siana says is that they hold codes. And we recognize these codes of these stories within our own self. So notice some of the codes right now. Notice the code of the prince, which is you. There's no gender here in this code. Going after a great treasure. So going after the goals or the things that you want to grow towards or deepen in your own life. And we have to move through confusion and go through many things and go into the depths of our emotions as we cross the rivers of our lives into the water and crossing through the vines and the confusion so we can see clearly. And then we start to get close to and arrive at what we think is the goal. And then here comes a challenge. Here comes fear that's arising as we start to step into and get close to what we want. And so here comes fear, unexpectedly. And the first thing the prince does is run away. So this is what we do sometimes. But that will never work towards getting the treasure. All right? And then what does a prince do? Well, there's another thing that some of us do when we're trying to get towards our goal. So there's the dragon. So what do some of you do when you're trying to get to the treasure and there's a dragon there? Maybe some of us will try to sneak past the dragon. So that's the prince's next move. He plots and plots to try to sneak past the dragon while it's sleeping, to make sure he can get past the dragon and the dragon won't notice. Well, that doesn't work. He's sneaking by, he steps on just a little twig, the dragon wakes up, the prince runs away. And we've all done this in our lives as well. So the prince goes and he tries to try again. And this time the prince musters up all of his courage. And he says, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to outsmart the dragon. I'm going to trick the dragon into thinking that something else is there, and then I'm going to sneak into the cave. And so the prince goes and he creates some distraction for the dragon. How many of us have done this in our lives? Creating distractions for ourselves. To try to sneak in, that doesn't work. The dragon catches him. Prince runs away. And then so a fourth time, the prince goes and he musters up all of his strength. And the prince goes, okay, I got this. I'm going to kill the dragon. I'm going to gather all of my courage. I'm going to gather all of my tools. I'm going to go and I'm going to kill and slay this dragon once and for all. Well, we know in every story that never works. The prince goes up with his big sword and just as he gets ready to go into the dragon's heart, the dragon swats the sword away, swats the prince away. The prince has no more weapons, and the prince has to run back and retreat. And so now the prince drops into a deep state of meditation, to go into his heart to see, why, Spirit, have you set me here if you won't allow me in the cave? So listen for the codes. Why, Spirit, have you set me here? Is the first question. But then we ask, if you won't allow me into the cave, why have you set me here if I can't get what it is that you've put me here to do? And so the prince gets a great message. He gets the actual code that guides him into the cave. And it's that he must befriend the dragon. Befriend the dragon. And every great story, every great myth, every great legend tells some version of this story. From Moana to Shrek to many of the great religious traditions and the stories, is that we come to the dragon and we bow and we say, I see you. Thank you for protecting this treasure, because if you were not here, there would be no treasure to be found. And so I honor you, dear dragon, for being so fierce, for having your fire, for protecting that which is sacred. And I am here not to steal the treasure, but to enhance it in service of the greater good of my life, of my family, and of humanity. And when we come to the dragon from this deep place in our heart, when we thank and bow the dragon for what it is here to do, what it has served, and we say, I am here with you in service of the greater good, then we can work with the dragon, and the dragon can show us the treasure. If you're with me, put some ones in the chat box. And so this is the power of our shadow. Because your shadow is there, this darkness is there. The dragons of our lives are there to protect the deepest treasures of our lives. And we have to go bowing in service, knowing that everything that has happened to us has not happened to us, it's happened for us. We have to learn to integrate our traumas and our conditioning and the things that have happened in our lives that have really happened to protect us in moments when they were needed. And we say, hey, from that capital Y-U, from the deepest place in us, we are moving forward. And so this is how we bring light to our shadow. And we go with our dragon. We ride the dragon into the cave to get the treasure. We go into the darkness with the dragon lighting the way. And so what you should know, everybody, is that you don't have to be afraid of your shadow. Because as Robert Masters and many teachers have guided us into, seeds grow in the dark. So do you. So we look at the shadow as what is it that we need to face and see and integrate so that we can make clearer choices in our lives. Y'all can see that I love the shadow a bit here. I love working with this space. It's really important. So now we go to the third element, action. We've gone light, shadow, and now action. And so action, y'all know about. Many of you are action people. If you're an action person, put some ones in. Action people are the doers. And doers, we constantly busy ourselves. And when doers see a problem, they jump in to fix things as quickly as possible. Okay? So doers, how many of you are doers? You can put some ones in the chat box. The problem with being a doer is if you're not doing your light work and you're not doing your shadow work, then you're busy all the time helping other people, trying to fix things in your life, but not seeing any momentum and transformation moving forward. This is the differentiator here of when we start to drop in a little bit more deeply. But action is not bad, but our action needs to be aligned with the greater good. And this brings me to our fourth piece, which is meditation. Now, many of you have read my book. I know probably if you have my book, type the words "Stay Woke" into the chat box, because that's the name of my book. Stay Woke, a meditation guide for the rest of us. Okay? And the reason why I teach meditation, people often ask me, why do I teach meditation? Why do I focus so much on meditation in my work? And that's because meditation is a practice that allows us to anchor in to that capital Y-U. And what I always say is that when we meditate, meditation is creating space for your soul to speak to you. And whether you call it a soul or your higher self or God or the universe or unicorns or whatever you call it, when you meditate, you are creating the space for that soul to speak to you. So everybody place one hand over your heart and the other hand on top of that, right over the center of your chest. And take a breath in and a breath out. Ground yourself into the earth. And just listen in right now. And feel, is there anything that your soul is trying to tell you in this moment? What might your soul be here trying to learn right now in this time? Listen. And then go ahead and type that into the chat box. Whatever it is that your soul is here to listen. And so it's there. You know it's there. So even if the little message comes and it's unclear, there is a message there for each of us. And when we meditate, we're creating the space for our soul to speak to us so that, okay, listen clearly, so that we're not just sitting here doing light work endlessly, disconnected from shadow work endlessly, disconnected from action endlessly, that we are in alignment and moving forward and connected into that force, into that momentum. And when we are connected into that momentum, our light work, our shadow work, and our action are working together to help us get to the whole lead up of this entire session, which is to help us transform. Light work plus shadow work plus action, led by the sacred force of our soul, is what leads us equals transformation. That's the equation, my friends. And transformation is not the same as change. Because action on its own can lead you to change. But is it a change that is in alignment with your highest self? Shadow work on its own can lead you to change. But it is in alignment with your soul's journey. Light work on its own can lead you to change. But is it transforming you? That's what I want to focus on. Because with transformation, what was is no longer available to you in the same way that it was before. This is why I focus so much on transformation. Y'all have heard me talk about this again and again and again. Change is changing your clothes, changing your job, changing your relationship, changing where you live. But wherever you go, there you are. And so transformation is an inside job. John Kabat-Zinn has an amazing book in saying this, says, wherever you go, there you are. And so we work to transform within so that all the changes we're making can actually have the impact we want them to have. And so like a caterpillar goes to a butterfly, the butterfly can obviously go back to the same twig or tree that the caterpillar was on, but will experience it very differently because now the butterfly has wings. And so yes, you can return to what was, but you will no longer be the same. And so your relationship to what was will be different. I want everybody to type that in. You can return to what was, but you are no longer the same. This is transformation. And when we return to what was, when we return to our families, but we've changed, when we return to our jobs, but we've transformed, when we return to social justice issues, but we're different within, this is how we create radical transformation in our lives and in the world. And this is the work that we together as a community are here to do. Let's practice. Let's do a practice together. So when you're ready, I invite you to place a hand over the center of your chest and another hand on top of that. Okay, one hand over the center of your chest and the other hand on top of that. Take a deep, full breath in and a breath out, and when you exhale, I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can keep your eyes open, but just drop your gaze down towards the earth. Take a breath in and a breath out. On the count of 3, I want you to exhale everything out of your system and breathe through your nose if you can. If you can't breathe through your mouth, that's fine, but purse your lips like you're sucking through a straw, like that, if you can't breathe through your nose, all right? 1, 2, 3, exhale everything out of your system, come to completely empty. And now to my count of 3, inhale for 1, 2, 3, hold for 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3. That's right, let's do it again. Inhale deeply for 1, 2, 3, hold for 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, and 3. Last time, inhale deeply, 1, 2, 3, hold for 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, and 3. Now just breathe normally, and you can drop your hands if you want to, or keep them over your heart. I'm going to ask you a transformational question. And I want you to listen for what arises with it. Here's your question. What is something in your life that you want to deepen or take to the next level, but haven't? Just listen for what arises. And just without skipping a beat, you don't have to read anything from anyone else. Just blink your eyes open lightly and type what came up to you into the chat box, and then close your eyes again if you're having your eyes closed for this practice, and come back into yourself, and I'll move us to the second part. So don't overthink this, just type whatever comes up, and if you're not comfortable typing into the chat, that's okay. So what is something in your life that you want to deepen or take to the next level but haven't? And then when you're done with that, hands back over the center of the chest and close your eyes. So that question is us pointing our arrow of aim. And now the next question is very simple. What do I need to let go of or release in order to welcome that into my life? What do I need to let go of or release to welcome that into my life? When you're ready, type that answer into the chat box. And then come back and close your eyes again. And put your hands over your heart again. And if you're practicing with your eyes open, no, that's always fine. Closing your eyes is an option. And then take a breath in and a breath out, dropping back into that space of your soul. And then ask yourself this question. What is one thing that I need to do, an action that I need to take that will help me get to this goal? I'll ask it again. What is one thing that I need to do or an action that I need to take that will help me get to this goal? When you have that answer, open your eyes and type it into the chat box, and then close your eyes one last time. And once you're back with your eyes closed, take a moment now and imagine yourself. It could be a future version of yourself, but just imagine yourself living with that vision that has come true. So whatever it is that you wanted to take to the next level, whatever it is that you are hoping to expand, whatever it is that you're hoping to deepen, imagine that it has happened, that every circumstance and challenge has been overcome, that you've let go of the judgment, that you've started taking care of yourself, that you've prioritized yourself. Imagine specifically that that thing has come true. Take a moment and scan around yourself right now and just notice, as you imagine this future vision, what do you sense? Get as clear of a sense of this coming true as you can. Just notice what's there and what's not. And then I'll ask you the final question. Who do I need to become to be ready to receive this vision? Who do I need to become? Who do you need to be ready to receive this vision? And don't type this one in yet. Just answer the question in your heart. And then whatever that answer was for you, whether it is I need to be more grateful, or I need to be more focused, or I need to be more confident, or I need to be more dedicated, I want you to transform that into an affirmation, an I am affirmation. And then just tell yourself, I am whatever that is. I am confident. I am focused. I am ready. I am grateful. I am active. Whatever that is, turn that into an affirmation for you. And I'll give you a few moments right now and just repeat that I am statement in your own mind. Repeat it and repeat it. Repeat it from your heart. Repeat it to your soul. Repeat it from your soul. And if you're saying it in your mind, I want to invite you to say it as a little whisper now, out loud. Whisper it, I am. And then from that whisper, maybe try saying it out loud, confidently. You might even stand up and shout it out right now and really proclaim it down into the earth, up into the sky, all around you. I am. And then bringing your hands back to your heart, say it silently inside. I am. And today, you'll keep this answer just for you in your heart. Beautiful Kingdom family. Take a moment here just to breathe. And when you're ready to come back, you can open your eyes and welcome yourself back to our collective. what I'd like for everybody to type into the chat box as we prepare to close is just a prayer for each person that's here. So you can say it as a collective in the chat box. Just, you could say, may you go after your dreams. May you know that you're enough. Just think of something from your heart that you want to offer to every single person here and type that into the chat box. And so we'll have a cascade of prayers, of intentions to each other as we stand by each other and go after our dreams. My prayer to you all is, may you always know that you are enough, and that even as you're trying to grow and evolve and change, that you are not broken. You're just wanting to play a bigger game. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to play a bigger game. Mal, I see your intention. May we all see how easy it can be. I love that. Daphne, thank you. Allison, may you love yourself unconditionally. Sarah, may you know you belong. Uli, I'm glad you made it in, dear. May your light shine. Kathy, may you know you have the wisdom to achieve your dreams. Donna, I believe in you. Mary Teresa, may you be kind and gentle with yourself. Lori, I pray that you know you are ready as you are in this moment. You are worthy. Your heart is beating, therefore you are worthy. I love you. Cheryl, I pray that you can feel the inner wisdom. Alonzo, may you trust. Czar, may the eyes of your understanding and the wisdom be enlightenment, that you may know the hope and reality of your calling and being. May we all be free as the birds. This is beautiful. So as we close out all of our sessions, every single one of our sessions, we go from practice to a golden nugget. And so I invite each of you to just very quickly place a hand over your heart, maybe both. And we covered a lot today, from light to shadow and action, meditation, transformation. And then you experienced all of that in your own being and the story of the dragons and the whole thing. And then everything that came up for you in that practice. If you could think of just one key takeaway from today's session, just one thing, if you had one takeaway, what would that takeaway be? You're not going to remember everything from the session, so if you could just pick one, what would it be? And just repeat that in your mind a few times so you can remember it, and then open your eyes, and finally we'll type into the chat box as we close out your key takeaway from this session. And we'll see a cascade of golden nuggets here. And I'm going to just offer a golden nugget to each of you, is that your wisdom of your own soul already told you an action that you need to take. This week, take that action. Take that action. You are ready. There's one action that you can take. It is time. It is time. And I see all of your golden nuggets coming in. Sarah, befriend your dragon. Nadine, shadow work is spiritual. Sarah, watch for the inner trickster. Cheryl, I have tools to transform. Befriend the dragon. Kathy, Kelsey also. Stephanie, befriend the dragon was a big one. Allison, the transformational equation. Light, shadow, action equals transformation. Lori, you have the answer. Megan, shadow is a gift. There's so many of them coming in. I want you all to read them so you can remember these actions. And take action. Just this week, take the action. And you'll know that this action is in alignment with your highest self, as long as you're tapping into the space of your soul. I want to remind you all, as we think of this, the power of transformation, that we're going to dive much deeper into this in the transformation experience that's coming on June 29th online at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's free. It's on this same platform, Crowdcast. And to join that, all you have to do is go to transformationx.org. I hope you will all join it. If you like today's session, get ready for the transformation experience. What I want to share with you all as we close on the power of transformation is that you are that great royalty going towards your vision. You deserve to have the power and the gift and the radiance of this life. And to have the power and the gift and the radiance of this life, it requires you to go through the peaks and the valleys, through the shadow and the light, through the darkness, and all of it together, because all of it is sacred and all of it here is to teach you something. All of it is here to teach you something. And so if you go into your heart and tap into that space and ask yourself, what is the next best move? What is my soul here to learn? You will not just change, you will transform. And I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. We'll close out just as we started today with our song that has been our song for the last month, Stand By Me. And I hope you all will have a much different sense of this song now that we've walked through it in the way that we have. And we rise together. Please sing along. I would love to feel you and hear you singing. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. Now we're not afraid of the dark. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea. Together. I won't cry. I won't cry. Maybe I will. No, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. Come on. So darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So kingdom family, stand by each other. Oh, stand by each other. Oh, stand by me. Kingdom family. I love you all so much. This is the kingdom where we rise together. And I'll see you right here in this special place in our next session. May you be well. And I'll close out with a prayer. I almost forgot. God, Spirit, universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. Thank you for bringing this community together. Thank you for helping us rise strong. May we trust in the dips, the valleys, the highs, the light, the shadow, the action, the lows. May we have unshakable trust in ourselves, in you, and in one another. So it is. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Satnam, Awen, Om. Thank you. I love you all. And I'll see you in the next session.